everyone, it's Caroline here from excuse me, it's Caroline here from Aussie Cards and Crafts, and today what I would like to do is to show you how I made this particular card here. Now excuse me, this was one of my prototypes. This was the first prototype here. This is the second one, which I actually used pattern paper and decorated, but there were still a few things that I didn't quite do right on this one. Even though I did record it, I thought I would do another one this morning and hopefully rectify some of those other issues. So I'm calling it the angel wing card because it looks like angel wings. So what I'm going to do is put a piece on the back like this that people can actually write their message on. So I will be putting that one on this particular card here. So I like it. It was one that I saw online, and it was by a lady by the name of Lista Zuraya. I think that's correct pronunciation, but I will pop the website up the top there. And it is similar to one that I did, not similar, but it's when I was looking online for something a little bit different. And let me just grab this other one. This is one that I did quite some time ago, and you'll probably see it on my website. And it's got obviously a little place there to write it. But when I was researching this one, I did come up against this one. And when I looked at the measurements, they were really, really big. So she's got it quite high and quite big. So it's a real centerpiece. I wanted to do it as a card, so I never got back to doing it, but I was thinking about it the other day, and I've played around with it, and I've changed all the sizes, and I hope you're going to follow, and I hope you really like doing it. So I'm going to get straight into it. The first thing that you need to do is you need to get yourself a die, just a circular die that is 1 3/4 inches. Now, what I have done is I have cut it out of some corrugated cardboard, and because when I put it through the die cutting machine, it squashes it. I've actually done 2 of them so that I've got a little bit more thickness there, and this is going to be the base just here. So what you firstly need to do is you need to glue these together. So I will be doing that. I also cut 2 discs from the same size die. One will go on top, one will go on the bottom. And these are going to, as I say, this is going to be this piece just here. So I'll move ahead and do that for you. Okay, next piece that I'm going to do, I'll just pop that one away. Over there for the moment. The next piece that I'm going to do is the piece that actually goes around. Now, when you're looking at your piece of card, I'll just put these away so you don't get distracted. When you're looking at your piece of card, you need to remember that this is going to actually wrap around. Okay, so it's going to wrap around that little disc that we've just made. So whichever way you're going to cut it, you need to cut your paper to get the most out of the pattern of whatever it is. I tend to use a double-sided paper. You don't necessarily have to. You can maybe even use a single-sided paper, and you can do maybe a Christmas wish right in there so that that kind of fills it up a little bit. So that's another idea of how you can utilize this one. So with this piece of paper is very old. I think I bought this when I first started doing cards, so it will be several years old. But it is 12. It was a 12 by 12 piece, and I have cut it to 12 by 8 inches. Now across the top of the 12-inch side, what I need you to do is to make a pencil mark at 6 inches. Whoops, that's not my pencil. I'm sure I'll find one. So just make a pencil mark at 6 inches. Then what you need to do, and I tend to do this with a knife rather than with the cutting board, you need to go from that mark down to the very corner of your piece of paper. Make sure you use a metal ruler as well. I don't like that one. I'm going to use this one. This one's got a better grip on it. Now that has moved. Okay. And this one here, you need to do the same. Making sure that you've got a very nice, even, or a nice point at the top there. And you don't need to throw those away. I'm sure they'll come into unuseful for something. Okay, next what we need to do is we need to wrap the bottom of this around here. Now, bearing in mind that this is the part, so if I start to do it like that, it's the red part that I want to show. It's not this part. If I were to go the other way, I would get that and I would be covering up my flower. So make sure that you go from the side. You start on the side that you know is going to be covered. So on the inside, what I do is I started off by putting a little bit of glue along the edge, just 2 or 3 inches in. That's all I do. And I'm going to have that on the outside. So, and you wrap it around, making sure that the edge, this edge here, is flush with the bottom of that disc. Okay, this is the trickiest part really, because once this is stuck, it's very easy to continue on around, but you're better off just to be a little bit patient and make sure that that first part is stuck well. Okay, and you can see it is absolutely flush. So once that is stuck, you can then continue around putting glue on the bottom of your paper, and just very carefully, as we did in the first place, making sure it is flush. Okay, and you just keep winding that around. I'll go to about there and I'll show you what I do with the last part. So you wind it around. When you get to this part, you know that this is all going to be covered in. So when you get to this part, you can actually, I'm just going to fix that. That's where it didn't cut properly. I'm just going to take that slight jagged edge off. So we know that this is going to be there. So you can actually put some glue all the way over that and bring it around. Making sure, once again, that is absolutely 100% flush with the bottom. And there we go. There is our cylinder that we're going to attach our wings to. There we go. And that's how easy that is to do. As I said, the hardest part is actually starting it off. Once it's started, you won't have any issues. Okay, so I'm going to pop that to one side. Next, I need to talk you through how I went about doing the wings. Now, I'm using gold wings for this. Now, these are single-sided papers. They call them, it's like a foil paper. So there's one thing that I really do want to stress with you. I went ahead yesterday and thought, oh, this is fantastic. I can get them out of one piece of paper. So I very cleverly did one that way and one that way, did all the things that I needed to do to them. And then when I came to fold them, I realized that they've actually got to be opposite. Okay, and if these were opposite, I would have had one wing that paper and one wing that paper. So whatever you do, make sure that you do use 2 pieces of paper, okay, and they've got to be the same if you want the wings to match. So with the first one, what I need to do is bring in my no, I'm just bringing the tape, the ruler actually. So what we need to do is we need to go up 8 1/4 inches on the left hand side, and we need to really find our pencil this time. I'm not sure where it's got. Oh, there it is, my favourite pencil. And just put a mark at 8 1/4 inches. Down on the other side, you then will put a mark at 3 inches. Okay. And for the sake of this exercise, I'm actually going to draw a line so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. So down to that 3-inch mark and up to that 8 1/4. And I'm just going to draw a very faint line across there. We are going to be cutting it in a minute, but I'm going to do the other one just so that you can see, so you don't make the same mistake I did. So this particular side, you go up 8 1/4 inches. So we'll pop a mark there. And then this side, once again, is 3 inches. And then once again, we will do another ruler line from that 8 1/4 inch mark up the top there to the 3-inch mark just here. Okay. Now, as I say, I'm going to be cutting those in a sec, but what I do want you to see is that they are opposites. Okay, so the 8 1/4 inch mark is just there, the 3 inches on the side. Otherwise, you'll end up finding that one of your wings will be white rather than gold. And I'm sure that's not what we really need. So I'm going to cut this once again with a blade because it doesn't fit in my cutting machine comfortably. So I'm just going to use a metal ruler and a blade and hold it very, very tightly. So now we have our 2 pieces. Now what we need to do is we need to bring the scoreboard in and we need to do some scoring. Now this is a strange kind of texture. It's shiny, and what I found last night when I was using this is that I did need to score it twice to get nice crisp folds. So I'm going to be doing that today. It doesn't really matter. It's entirely up to you what tools you want to use and whether you, I mean, obviously if it's paper, you'll only need to do it the once, but I found it folded much nicer. So I'll go down and you go down at 1/2 inch and then every 1/2 inch. So we've done one at 1/2 inch, we'll do one at 1 inch, 1 1/2 inches, and so on right across. Right, so now they're all scored. It is now a case that you need to fold them, and as you can see, they mirror each other. So what we need is we need for this first fold on both of them to be mountain folds. So I'm going to fold that as a mountain. And then concertina along each of these fold lines. Okay, so there we go. We have now got our concertinaed wings. What you now need to do is you now need to, oh, I've got to find something that I don't know where it is. That's okay, I'll find it in a moment. What you now need to do is you now need to fold this piece. So you've got your concertina part. Now we need to fold this to match up with this piece just here. So that first fold, the bottom of that first fold to the top of that first fold there. So you fold that up and then just squeeze it in and then bring the rest of that over. Okay, now it's going to be thick, I understand that, but that's what you need to do. You need to fold it so that it goes like so. Then you'll see that you'll have a little indentation there. You do the same with the next piece, and then you get some cotton or something to actually tie it, and that's what I'm missing at the moment. I might have to go and grab some. So it's going to be this corner here. Okay, I'll just point it, that one there to that one there. And it's easier if you just do the top piece first, guide it into place, and then bring the rest of it over. Like so. Okay. So now I'm just going to go and see if I can find my cotton. So all you need to do is take a piece of cotton, and where this indentation is there, you give yourself enough to tie it off because you're going to need to, but you go around and around and around, okay, just to make sure it's very tight and it's being held in. And then you tie that off. Okay, so as you can see, I didn't tie off the first one properly and it came undone. Now, what you need to do is make sure that they match. Okay, so you can see my tie off. Let me just use a pointy thing. I've got one tie off there, one tie off there. So they actually match, and they match at the top as well. So now what we need to do is we now need to put some red tape along this part here. Now, if I was using anything but this paper, I would most definitely be using glue to do this part of it, okay, and the next part as well. But unfortunately, because this is a mirror board, or it's classified as a mirror board, I do find that I do need to have the red tape just to hold it. So pop a piece of red on there, take the topping off, and then using this and that, you fold them and bring them together. Okay, making sure that they are okay, like so. And then the next one you do exactly the same. So I tend to use the mirror. I tend to use if I'm using tape, I tend to put it close to this fold here so that I know that it is actually going to close. The last one I put in the center. Just grab a little bit more there. And once again, we take the topping off. And there we go. And once again, fold this one here and this one and pinch them together, making sure that they match up. There we go. And there you have your angel wings. Okay, next what we need to do is to attach the angel wings. Now, once again, I would do this with glue if, and I do stress, if I didn't have this. So basically your point has got to match up to the point there, and then this, sorry, the base has to match up down here, making sure you got it nice and straight. And then if we need to round off some of the top, we can do that once it's already stuck on. Now I'm going to have to use tape again for this, which I don't like doing, but once again, as I said before, being a mirror board, glue will not stick, or not, generally speaking, does not stick very well. So I'm going to pop some tape right the way along that edge until about 1/2 inch from the top. Okay, if we need more, I can do it. I can actually put more on, but with the one I did yesterday, I found that I put it right to the top, and you can still see I've got some glue in there. So I would put it just to there, and with the other one exactly the same. We go. Now I find this the most difficult part, or the most trying part, because you see how that one is actually going to be too big. I will just trim that off at the top, so don't worry too much. Let's just get the bottom part on first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the bottom part of this, and I'm just going to fold it over. I just want to get it in the right position before I go taking everything apart. So make sure your point is facing you, and to one side, just pop that down to where it is, and then you're going to have to just coax this around to the back. And once you've got it like that, you can pretty much take the rest of that off. And when you get to the top part is where you start the coaxing around to the back. Okay. And there is our first wing that is absolutely attached. Now there is a little bit there. I will put a little bit more tape on, only the tiniest bit. So I'm going to put it on the actual top bit there, and I'm going to do it afterwards, because I think you'll find that I'll be able to put both of the wings on the one piece. So we do the same with this bit. We take that off here and fold it to you so that you can actually access it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this backing off of this little red piece up here, if I can get it off. And fold the points of those behind. Okay, and there we have our angel wings. Next, it's a case of just decoration. Now, what I have done with this, I like to cover up where we've got those. So firstly, I've done a Merry Christmas. Now that was a die cut. I put it onto one of the scraps from here, and as you can see, I've got the green bit down there on this part as well. And I'm going to pop that in the center just there. but I also have made some poinsettias, so I might actually put that higher because I want my poinsettias to be around here. I've got several of those, and I've also got some rings that I'd cut out. Some more over here that will actually go in behind, just to add a little bit more interest. Okay, they were already cut, that's the reason that I did them, but I want to make a bit of a statement over this side and just a little bit over here. So I'm going to go ahead and decorate, and I will come back to you once it's all complete. Okay, so that is pretty much the decoration done. I'm just going to just put a little bit of glue behind this one here because that's sticking out a little bit, and that can be used with glue because it's sticking onto paper. So there is our pretty much finished card. There is something optional that I'm suggesting that we maybe do, and that is to put a greeting on the back. Okay, so there, that would go on like so, and that will give someone a chance to write their message. So I'm going to actually I'm going to take that tab off because I was going to have one that lifted up, but it just got too cumbersome. So I'm just going to cut this off. And I think what I will do is use tape down the center. And I'll use my 1/4 inch tape. Once again, the red tape is usually the best. I do find it to be a lot stronger. And one thing you can do, now this piece of paper, or this piece of card is 6.5 inches in depth. It's 4 inches on the base. Across here is 2 inches. And I've just cut them down so that it's similar shape and it's hiding behind the card. So because this is 2 inches at the top, I could actually place a very cool, I'll do it at the other side because I'm going to put the tape on the other side, and then it doesn't matter. So if I put a mark there in the middle and a mark down here in the middle, it gives me a guide for when I'm laying down my tape. So that's where it needs to go. Oh, and I still got it crooked. Never mind. And now take that off and place this on the back. And it also hides where you folded and things like that. It hides a multitude of sins. So let's make sure that it's pretty much centered, and then lay it on there. And people can actually write on that. That's not a problem. Just wait till that's dry. And there you have it. So I've got the silver one that I did last night, where I learnt that there was a few mistakes, but I still managed to get it done. The gold one, and of course the original one that I did here, that as you can see, they're not even there. but it did give me, it's not even down here either. So that's why I have put the extra 1/4 inch, because I felt that it did need it. So I'm happy with it. As I say, I'm going to call it my angel wing card, I think. I'll stick that one back in a moment. My angel wing card. If you're not using, I would suggest that if you don't have to, and you've got the correct papers or whatever papers you want to use, paper is a lot better than using this because of the folding, because of the gluing on, and it's much easier to get this on if you're using glue rather than having to use tape, because it being a mirror card. I really hope you like it. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'd really love that. If you've got any questions whatsoever or are concerned about anything and you want to ask questions, don't hesitate. Please just pop them below. I do try and get back to them as soon as I can. Otherwise, go over onto our Facebook page and send me a private message. It's the Aussie Cards and Crafts. If you're not a member, please become a member. We'd love to have you there. And yeah, I'm very happy with that one, and I hope you are too. I think it's a real statement piece. Just as a guide, what I was going to do with this first one is I was actually going to put some twigs in there on blue tack, and I was going to hang these off of the twigs, but I couldn't get the twigs in the right shape that I wanted, so I didn't go with that. The other thing I thought of is that if you were to have twigs, you could actually get those seed lights and wrap them around and have the switch on the back, and that would look really nice. But once again, these are just from my garden, and I need something that is going to be a little bit displayed a little bit better than just these, so I didn't go ahead with that. But that is a couple of other ideas that I have got for this card if I can get the right shaped twigs. Okay, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, happy crafting.